mobility and ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
Stop it now.
I can stop it.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks. So, namaste and good evening to all, and a warm welcome to the dignitaries, Sri Raghuji, Assistant Professor in Management, Nitte Meenakshi Institute of Technology, Bengaluru, and Dr. Gopi Sharma, Director, NCADE, and President, IGNOU IIC, New Delhi, and Dr. Mamta Das, Assistant Director, NCADE, and Conveyor, IGNOU IIC, and my beloved colleagues of NCADE, schools, divisions, research centers, learner support centers, and other invitees to this webinar, Lean Startup and Minimum Viable Product or Business. Why we are conducting today the webinar, I wish to convey that little background. The Ministry of Education, Government of India has established an innovation cell with the purpose of systematically fostering the culture of innovation in all higher education institutions across the country. The primary mandate of MIC is to encourage, inspire, and nurture young students by supporting them to work with new ideas and transfer them into prototypes. IIC is a faculty experts student council, which takes on multiple activities to promote innovation and entrepreneurship around the year. IIC's objective is to prepare the students with skills like critical thinking, design thinking, innovative thought process, and the entrepreneurial mindset. The main functions of IIC are identify and reward innovations and share success stories, organize periodic workshops, seminars, interactions with entrepreneurs, investors, professionals, and create a mentor pool for student innovators, and a network with peers and niche entrepreneurship development organizations. So the presently IIC 4.0 is an upgraded version of IIC 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Many features regarding monitoring and submission of reports, assessment criteria, star scheme, type of activities, etc. have been added on IIC portal. As a part of IGNOU Innovation Council activities in CAGE, RC Bangalore has arranged today's webinar. Today event is arranged at the first semester and fourth quarter of IIC with Government of India. The main theme is startup. The first area is awareness about startup and related ecosystems. I hope that today's session will certainly create awareness about startups and may inspire people to have startups educated. Now it's my duty to introduce our resource persons and other dignitaries. Our today's resource person, Sri Raghuji, is working as the Assistant Professor in Management with the Meenakshi Institute of Technology, Bangalore. He had MBA from Visvesvaraya Technological University and BSc from University of Agricultural Sciences. I'm proud to say that he is a son of farmer. He has more than 18 years experience in teaching and 1 year experience in industry. He has published many research papers in national and international journals. He has presented research papers in national and international conferences and seminars. He is a member of various national, international professional associations in India. He is currently in the top 10% of authors on GSSRN by all-time downloads. His main strengths are preparation of research papers based on case study analysis in an innovative way. He has completed his PhD thesis on a study on consumer behavior with reference to marketing fruits and vegetables through organic retailing in Bangalore and submitted for award of PhD from Bharatiya University. It's a privilege to have you as a research person of today's webinar, sir. And the man behind the conduct of today's event is Dr. Om Prakash Sharma. Dr. Gopi Sharma is presently working as Director in CDE and is also the President of IGNOU Institute Innovation Council, New Delhi. He is having MSc and PhD in Physics, Diploma in Distance Education, and MA in Distance Education. And he is working towards finding innovative learning and support solutions for the distance learners using newer technologies. He is coordinating the scheme of on-demand examination in the university. His areas of interest are science popularization, research in open distance education, examination reforms, innovative initiatives for effective and learner-friendly support practices. He has created many milestones to IGNOU through his outstanding contribution in building the innovative initiatives in distance education. Sir, you are the role model for all of us to adopt innovation in our daily working and in our ODA system. Dr. Mamta Das, an Assistant Director of NCDE and the convener of IGNOU IIC, and she is the motivational force for all the RCs and supporting a lot in conduct of IIC events in effective. She had the PhD in plant breeding and genetics. And even today, invitation card is designed by her only. The areas of interest are developing innovative programs for IGNOU learners, developing content for distance learning, and studying problem areas of ODL system for devising solutions. Her area of specialization is plant breeding and genetics in mediclinical plants. And due to emergency meetings, and Dr. Mamta Das and our another expert, Sri Jayaraman, is not able to join today. So we express our thanks to them and we welcome them. Now, may I request Dr. Gopi Sharma sir to kindly deliver the opening remark, please. Sir, may I request? Yes, sir. You are audible.
I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Radha. Good afternoon to all of you. Indeed, it's a very great pleasure for me to participate in this very important program being organized by the Regional Center Bangalore under the aegis of Institutions Innovation Council of IGNOU. I welcome you all the participants and the expert of the day, Mr. Raghu. We are really thankful to you, Mr. Raghu, that you could make it possible to address our students on a very important topic related to innovation and startup. In fact, Dr. Radha has just informed you that like other higher education institutions, Indira Gandhi National Open University,
We are going. Which church you are going, sister? Yeah.
is there any problem? Julie Vezia. Yes, kindly keep your mics mute if there is not urgency. Like any other higher education institutions, on the directions of the Ministry of Education, IGNOU has also set up Institutions Innovation Council, and the basic objective of that IIC is to promote the culture of innovation and entrepreneurship and startup in the university and support the students of IGNOU in setting up the enterprises and startup. And in that context, we have been organizing various kinds of programs, and those programs include right from the idea generation to proof of concept development, prototype development, and then now today this very important topic which we have chosen for the lean startup and minimum viable product or business plan development. That's very important because we know that in this cycle of setting up a startup, this stage is very important. And we have seen many students find it difficult to understand what is the meaning of the minimum viable product, or at what stage we can call it a MVP, or particularly if they are doing some business, then in what context this MVP will be applicable for them. So these are very many questions which students generally come across. And besides that, what kind of other support or other kind of concern are there which students should take care of while thinking of setting the startup. There are many such issues, and they may be having very brilliant ideas, but how to convert that idea into a proper startup, what kind of challenges would be there, what are the different stages, and how to go from one stage to another stage. These all issues are there in the minds of our students. And I think in that context, today's session will be very important. And because Mr. Raghu is having very rich experience in the field, this will be very useful. As Dr. Radha has mentioned, the National Center for Innovation in Distance Education, we have been taking a number of initiatives, a number of activities we have been organizing right from the beginning to identify the potential or budding innovators from amongst the IGNOU students, and then providing them different kind of training, guidance, and support in the form of different webinars, training workshops, popular talk series that we have been organizing on every Friday. Every Friday, we are organizing a Facebook Live session on innovation, startup, and entrepreneurship, where we are inviting different kind of experts, and these experts are not only sharing their expertise and knowledge, but many of our successful innovator students, successful startup students, they are sharing their stories. They are motivating the students of IGNOU. They are sharing their life experience, what kind of problems they encountered, and what kind of initiatives they took to resolve those problems, and how they reached to that stage of a successful startup or enterprise. Those all things we are bringing on every Friday. In addition to that, a number of training programs, the NCID with the help of regional centers has been organizing, and the ultimate aim is to encourage our students towards innovation startup, to support them, to guide them, and also to mentor them in a one-to-one form, because when we find that some of these students, they are doing wonderful thing, but certain things they need guidance, very personal guidance they require. So in that context, we have that one-to-one interaction with them through video counseling, or sometimes through telephone, and sometimes if they are in the NCR, we invite them at the headquarters, they interact with us, and we guide them. Not only we, but we invite our experts from different schools of studies also. For example, if somebody is having an idea or a startup from the agriculture field, so we try to connect them with the expert or the professor of the agriculture and related area. So that kind of activities we have been conducting for our students. And this today's program is one such in that series, where we have invited such an expert who will be sharing the experience and his expertise in the field of minimum viable product and business. I hope this will be very useful. I'm really thankful to all the participants who have joined us through this Google Meet, and also through other social media. I'm really thankful to Mr. Raghu, the expert of today's program, to spare time to address our students. And this is a really very great job by the Regional Center Bangalore. They have always been interacting with the IGNOU students by organizing different kind of programs. You might have participated in several other programs also in the past year. I think for the last 2-3 years, they are very active and different kind of programs. And very good thing with the Regional Center Bangalore is that what I have noticed, they have invited the experts from industry, from academia, those who are really doing this kind of thing. Because giving a talk or giving a lecture by an academic is a different thing, but a person who is doing these things, and if that person is addressing our student, then I think that is a more practical and more useful for the students. For that, I really thank Dr. S. Radha and her team for taking this kind of initiative, and I hope this journey will continue in times to come. So without taking much time, I think we should listen to our expert. He will be giving us some new insight into this field. So thank you very much, and now it is over to you, Dr. Radha.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. So without your cooperation, guidance, these things could have not happened. We're all thankful to you, sir. Now may I request Sri G. Raghu, please kindly deliver the keynote address.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the opportunity. And I'll be starting now.
Please.
Hope I'm audible to all.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay. So let me first thank all the organizers for today's event. And today we have a topic that's on lean startup. So what is the concept of lean startup? So this is the basic information that we would like to start with. So maybe I wanted to start with the basic concept of the startup. Basically, when we look into the business, we say the customers are highly important, and we do business, we prepare our products and services as per the expectations of customers. But the customers don't care about what kind of solutions that you provide, but they care about what their problems are and how do you address their problems. So it's all about what is the expectation of customer. So you think you would have studied in your services marketing, like we need to understand the customer expectations. So what my customer want? So in that context, an entrepreneur has to think. So an entrepreneur is also expected to know who is their customer before they start producing, before they start manufacturing or getting some idea and trying to go for scaling up into the business. So in this context, let us see how this startup and lean startup is being together. Because when you talk about lean manufacturing in engineering terms, it's basically about making it very, very simple in terms of avoiding unnecessary cost cutting, and also unnecessary unproductive wastages and processes, which is leading to the product development. So when you talk about new product development, I think maybe the students would have already studied in the context of markets. So the different markets, how they enter the new markets with the existing products, or it could be a strategy of a company where they're trying to enter an existing market with a new product. So there could be a lot of other marketing strategies. Accordingly, they have to manufacture. So that's where the entrepreneurs are startups today, basically the techno entrepreneurs. So when you talk about IT related things, like basically we have a lot of importance that's been given to this particular startups, basically being Bangalore as the startup hub in India. And of course, we have IT, basically it's also called as Silicon Valley of India. So we have startups and IT together. So that could be the huge opportunity for all of us, including maybe not only the students, even for consultants, maybe the faculty members. We can also support with that kind of environment, or it could be the ecosystem that's happening in the particular startup area. And when we see the kind of minimum viable product, which is very popularly abbreviated as MVP, we see basically there is a lot of interactions happening with respect to the engineers, the designers, the innovators, the entrepreneurs, managers. So from various fields of the entire study. So we see there's a lot of interaction happening, and there's a kind of traditional models which has not been accepted. The traditional models we have seen, like basically there is a kind of maybe when we talk about the new product development stage, the different stages are the product life cycle, or when you talk about the entire conceptual models, okay, how we actually try to make the customer accept our product, or the entire maybe test marketing. You would have studied in marketing management, right? So I think some of the students would have been from marketing background, or we have HR, or so many other disciplines. So how is the entire things that's been carried out when we talk about the entire product manufacturing? So basically, we see a lot of tedious, long procedure. But today, in this lean concept, the lean startups, they are trying to overcome whatever is the various maybe traditional concepts, and they are trying to interact more with respect to the what is the customer exactly wants and with the customer need. So they are focusing on what exactly the problems they are facing, so that minimum product what is should be available, so that is that they're trying to prepare. So in that case, it becomes easy for even the manufacturer to reduce the unnecessary cost, unnecessary features which is not appreciated by the maybe the customers. So in that case, we can say the startup success can be involved with respect to value addition or engineering with respect to the various process, and we can also learn how it can be taught and how it can be executed so that the customer needs can be fulfilled. So in this context, with this basic information, let's go further to understand what is the lean startup process. The basic process, or we can say principles of a lean startup, it revolves around three important stages. We talk about the building the entire ecosystem, build the product, and then you try to measure, then learn. So building the particular new product, then you measure it, and you collect more data, learn from the maybe experiences of customers. Just I think you heard of the term test marketing, right? So some of you would have studied marketing research. So where we call maybe test marketing, when we try to collect some of the innovative adopters, early adopters, or who are all ready to accept our new products. So that particular segment of customers, we are trying to focus, and basically we are trying to see how is the response. So we collect the feedback, and we use that feedback for effective manufacturing of a particular product, which is maybe we have some basic features. With that basic feature, we try to sell it to those innovative, accepted, maybe the adopters, early adopters, or whatever you call it as innovators. So those customers, if they appreciate, if they say, yes, there is some kind of change that we want, based on the change, we are going to make some necessary modifications, and again, we try to redesign it. So this is the simple model, unlike your traditional models where we need to think of, basically you see the entire process of research, maybe the business research methodology, or when you talk about the entire series of project management. So we see there is a maybe business plan we develop, we make ideation, the brainstorming, and then we collect some data, then the primary data, secondary data, we analyze it, and we try to see what is my requirement, the customer, what they say, and based on that, we try to design, we test it, and then so basically it takes a lot of time. So that time is being reduced. So that's the major benefit of lean manufacturing. So apart from this, we have something called as a minimum viable product. What is that MVP? Just now I told you like what is the basic feature that we need to look into. So that basic feature, initially it was like a prototype, it was like a model, it was not a real product. But today we have the innovators, maybe the entrepreneurs who are developing into the real products, and they're trying to maybe test the market. So if they are successful, then they try to maybe scale up, or they're maybe trying to reach new segments or new markets. So that's how we are seeing a lot of startups that's been happening in various fields in different industries. So this is something which we need to understand with respect to the current concept or the topic that we are discussing. So apart from this, we can also think of what are the basic principles of this lean process, or how is this lean process, entire process methodology. Before going to the principles, let's understand the entire methodology aspect. See, the benefit of this entire lean concept is it eliminates uncertainties. There's a lot of uncertainty, like we need to think of test marketing, and again customer feedback, then we analyze, then we modify, then you release again, reposition it. So there's a lot of long process, and there is a lot of uncertainty before I produce a product. It can be a company, maybe multinational company, it can be a small startup, can be a small scale industry, it can be tiny industry, it can be a innovative, maybe campus companies, student neurons, maybe small companies you can start with. But when you try to see the uncertainty aspect, when you're investing so much fund, when you have incurred some of the costs, so it becomes very, very difficult to manage in case if it is not clicking in the market. So that's the reason the basic benefit of this lean concept is to eliminate that uncertainty, because you are not actually producing the complete product, because it's only a few basic features which is there. So that's the one particular method. Then other thing can be, we need to work smart instead of working hard. So that's the concept. Already many people, many of the platforms we have been hearing, basically as a management students, we know how to work and how to be smart enough to make use of that available technology, to make use of the information, the communication, or it can maybe any devices. So with the governmental support, the policies, with the new changes happening, even it could be the NEP or the initiatives taken with respect to the innovation, or the maybe the digitalizing, or it can be the kind of new skills or skill gap analysis or skill counseling. So much counseling sessions free of cost, like entrepreneurial support. So there are n number of inputs that's been given to the student community. So you have to try to engage and try to spend more time and try to make use of all these opportunities which is being given. And definitely we can make a small efforts, and it can, many of them can be successful in terms of setting up your own campus companies, or maybe a small entrepreneurs who can maybe start with the small startups in the coming years. So with this, I think we'll go further and try to understand what are the other aspects of this lean process. See, the next thing is the lean process also lead to the development of minimum viable product. And what is MVP? We have just discussed. The next last fourth aspect I would like to say is it also validates the learning process. I think you need to know what is this learning process, why we are talking about learning here. It's basically about, I just started with a quote saying that the customer is key, customer is everything, customer is king in business. Because we are there, we are surviving, we are existing. My company or my business is existing because of my customers. So customers don't care what's that you are producing, how much you are investing, how much you are how much you are investing in terms of production cost, or what is your brand, what is your doing, what is your capacity, your size. So it doesn't matter today. So it's matter basically, how do you solve their problems, how do you execute, how do you address their needs, their requirements and their wants. So that's the matter. So that's the companies. So everyone is focusing on those customer requirements and trying to personalize, trying to customize their solutions or products based on the expectations of customers. So that's leading to success. Some of the companies are the startups who are all not able to understand this basic information. So maybe they will not be able to meet the customer requirements and they may not be able to survive in the market. So these are all the basic process that's involved in the lean concept. Now let's try to understand with the principles of this lean concept. Hope it's clear. So shall we go ahead with the next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
please.
It's very clear.
Thank you.
Please.
All. So now let's try to understand what are the basic principles on which this lean manufacturing or lean startup concepts are built. See, the basic principle is entrepreneurship. So when I say startup, it's nothing but entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurs today, if you see the world is full of entrepreneurs. You start from the maybe the successful, the most a strong brand in the world. So it's been built by one entrepreneur, maybe sometime years back. Or if you say today, maybe a struggling, maybe a small and maybe startup. Yesterday they have started. It may be a student with some family business or without any family business background, with some amount of small money. So it could be maybe a farmer. It can be a small student. So it could be again another startup. So the basic principle is entrepreneurs are everywhere. Entrepreneurship is everything. Entrepreneurs are required. Entrepreneurs are needed for young India and future India. Then entrepreneurship is management. The second principle is, when I'm talking about entrepreneurship, it's all about how do you manage your all the resources. The management is in a company is very, very easy compared to management in an entrepreneurial firm. Why? Because a lot of challenges, a lot of uncertainty, risk compared to a manager. Because a manager will be paid a salary on every 30th. Okay, so monthly his financial stability is there. But in case of an owner, entrepreneur himself, innovator, okay, startup business, so they have to sell, they have to prove, they have to address, they have to communicate, they have to drag the customers, they have to sell and maybe market and make money. Otherwise they can't sustain, and they have to think of leading the business with a lot of technology and a lot of competition at an international level. So these are all the challenges, but still the entrepreneurship is all about even managing all these resources. So how do you manage? Because when I'm talking about, suppose assume that a student X is specializing into HR or marketing, you are supposed to know only what is happening in your department, in your own function. But when I'm talking about an entrepreneur, he must be a master of all. Okay, so you should know everything. You should know everything: how to recruit, what are the problems of people, problems of resources, problems of products, and the service issues, the customer complaints, how to market, what are the strategies, or it could be policy issues, the external factors, internal factors. So n number of things, everything, almost everything about this business. So that's the major challenge we have. So in that sense, we say entrepreneurship must be managed well, and entrepreneurship is all about management. It's not about marketing alone. It's not about HR alone. So it includes all the functions as a whole. The next third principle we can think of is, it's a validated learning. I think I said why it's learning. What is that something to do with the learning for a startup firm? When we talk about learning, as an entrepreneur, innovator, creator, I need to learn from maybe the customer. What my customer problem, try to address, try to see how my customer wants, whether how it has to be delivered, the services, or it could be a product. What is exactly the requirement? So the requirement has to be understood. For that, you need to learn, you need to listen to the customer, communicate, and try to talk, make a approach. So directly, indirectly, we try to collect a lot of information. It can happen through research. The research can be the primary data, secondary data, or the analysis, or the entire research efforts can also be with respect to various platforms. Of course, we have online research, we have maybe the lot of cyber, or it could be the technology based research. So these are the different areas we can really explore and try to find out what kind of suggestions that we can come out, so that we come out with a better and effective, constructive, and positive feedback from the customers. So once with the feedback, we have to learn and we have to execute. So please understand, there's one more important thing I would like to say. Unlike your traditional maybe entrepreneurship or a management, we are not just following what is happening maybe in the prototype of the product, then we'll see, then we test, then we research, then we analyze. So that long steps, long process has been eliminated, and it's been reduced or combined, and it's been very simplified into small things. So now what is expected out of a modern entrepreneur or a startup business? Why do we say lean startup? Because we need to just experiment, go to the field, experiment, talk to a customer, see what they want, deliver that minimum value, that minimum viable product, and see their response, and immediately go for change. If you want the customer, if you mean, so the customer wants you to change, modify the product, just modify it and then again deliver it. So this is how you are trying to eliminate all these unnecessary steps which was there traditionally. So that's why it's called as lean, and you do not have any wastage. You are not wasting your time. You are not following the same traditional steps that we used to see in general. So this is how the lean concepts are becoming more and more popular with the startups. So next, coming to the other aspect, we have something called as the innovation. So what is that innovation? How innovation and design thinking is related to startups? So this is another broad area. Actually, if you talk about innovation, creativity, that itself is a vast field. So how innovation and creativity is supporting the entrepreneurs, and how this innovation are thinking in a different way, think different, be different. So that's kind of differentiation with respect to your business, your brand, your products, your services makes a lot of value to your customers. Otherwise, there is no identity. You will lose the brand value, and you will be able to be not able to compete in the business. So in that context, we need to understand. Yes, I think Hanuman, Manthan, any questions? You're raising hand. Any questions? Please ask.
Any questions? I request the audience. Any queries? Or is the expert may continue for further session?
Otherwise,
I
we can
think you
keep it at the
complete
end.
first, and then after that we'll have questions.
Yes, the end of the maybe the last 5-10 minutes.
That will
We
be
can
fine.
have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
You may kindly continue, sir, Raghu sir.
Okay, thank you. So the innovation and creativity, I was talking about innovation accounting, how this innovation and creativity is actually influencing in maybe the design thinking also. Design thinking, blockchain technology. Today we talk about nanotechnology, digitalization within IT, and number of opportunities that's waiting. I'm really thrilled, and I was waiting and very much excited to share with all of you. Even I'm not from IT background, but even I have learned data analytics. And today I have taken up a lot of programming languages. We talk about Python, talk about SQL, talk about your Linux. Okay, so not just I'm just basic introduction is a must for an entrepreneur. Today's modern manager or a young entrepreneur should be exposed to all these IT techniques. So what are the latest technologies that we have? So of course, these are the basic concepts we must know. Apart from your traditional, MS Office or maybe the internet, or it could be maybe when you talk about the other like Excel, advanced Excel, all that. So apart from that, today we talk about a lot of big data and data science, data analytics, and when we talk about the artificial intelligence, AI, and it could be maybe augmented reality, virtual reality, or it could be cloud computing, edge computing, so digital marketing. So these are all the opportunities for all of you. And you should not have that mindset of, no, I'm from finance background, I don't like IT. This is compulsion. So IT is default. IT is default. I have repeated. So IT is for everyone, all the functions. You cannot say this is not my cup of tea, it's not my choice, and I'm only interested in marketing, I'm only interested in finance. So it's nowadays become compulsion. So it's a compulsion for everyone. So you need to know how do you identify opportunities, particularly in case of IT industry, and because it's been booming with a lot of job opportunities, and there's a lot of skills gap, and there's a lot of free materials, a lot of free, the stuff that's available online. So that's another advantage for all of you. You need not pay anything. A lot of online free courses happening, and maybe the correspondence courses with IGNOU and other governmental portals. So that's all assisted. Today, it was not there few years back. We have heard of IGNOU, but we don't have that connect. But today it is possible because of online thing, and we visit the websites very frequently, and a lot of programs happening like this, maybe the online webinars or conferences, seminars, virtual programs. So it's all helping you, so that you need to identify and you need to make use of these opportunities. So now let's come into the last aspect. This is about build, measure, learn. So when you talk about these three words, this is something very, very important when it comes to MVP, minimum viable product, because this is something we need to do. Actually, we are building the product. We are not worrying about what is that, okay, test marketing, what my customers say, all that. We just go with bold step. We build the actual product, of course, with a minimum cost, minimum features, and then we try to measure with the customers response feedback. If there is a positive feedback, then we can go for maybe marketing it, okay, selling it. But in case if there is any changes, small modifications expected, we learn from that. And again we go for rebuilding it. So this is a simple concept of build, measure, learn. So this is another important concept of MVP we need to understand. So let's now try to understand what is that MVP. Maybe to, I think, how many we have another 10 minutes, ma'am.
Sir, you can take your own time, no worry. We are really enjoying the session. We are learning a lot. Please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so next aspect I would like to talk upon is minimum viable product. What is that? Because many times these jargons, or some of the times we use abbreviations, you may not be heard of this. Maybe many of you would have heard for the first time. What is this MVP, minimum viable product? So let's go and understand this concept. See, the minimum viable product is a fundamental concept in lean startup. So when you talk about lean startup, you would have understood what is that lean concept. Lean means thin. So thin, making it very, very simple. So unnecessary fat, unnecessary processes, unnecessary unproductive, maybe the wastages, everything we are eliminating. Okay, so as it says, when there is a quick start in the learning process, when we are integrating that feedback from the early adopters. I think you know the entire concept of product adoption concept. Hope many of you are from marketing specialization. Will definitely you know that. So when I'm talking about a new product, okay, it's part of your new product development life cycle. Okay, when the product goes into the different stages, starting from introduction stage, and then it gets into the bell-shaped curve, and it starts getting to the growth phase, and then maturity and decline, right? So when you see this entire phase, the entire adoption process, adoption means how many customers are willing to accept your new product. So that will be totally interesting. Based on that, we have a very long back, we have a standard classification. We call it as innovators, early adopters, okay? And maybe we have laggards and other classifications. So when we talk about these early adopters, so that's very, very interesting for us. And because our basic product, we are trying to test with the early adopters. So early adopters are the main focus, and they are going to get us a lot of feedback. Based on that, we learn, we modify, and we build again, and maybe we can try to go to the market. So minimum products, which is maybe a bad and it can be good. So what is that customer want? How it can be applied? How it can be used? The useful, maybe the application aspects, we'll check. Then on the other side, whether it's viable, the viable products in terms of viability means, I think a lot of finance students would be there. I don't know, maybe I don't have any information on maybe the students here. So in the financial angle or in the marketing angle, in general, we say when we talk about feasibility analysis, we look into two important aspects: the technical feasibility and the financial feasibility, or you can say economic way. Okay, so when you see this financial feasibility or economic feasibility, so how much products can be manufactured, and what is the is there any profit, what is the revenue model? So these analysis we need to make. So with that basic understanding or information, then we can decide whether the products can be built or not. So if it is really good, if it is having a demand, if it is accepted well by the early adopters, then we can take a decision and we can go for making a product, and that's how the startups will start. So but it will be lean because there is no additional unproductive cost involved. So that's what is the MVP concept. So we maybe you can think of so many companies who are all into these type of MVPs. We have n number of examples we can think of in case of IT also, and how they have reduced their cost, how they have increased their efficiency with respect to maybe manufacturing or selling, particularly online selling businesses. And even just by having a small website, they create a website, they act as a middleman between the one particular maybe a restaurant and the customers, and then they'll exchange the information and they'll charge certain percentage of maybe fees, and they make a huge revenue. So these are all the ways how you can able to build a small lean startups, and it can be successfully launched. Okay, so I think you have some understanding and idea about what is the lean concept and how these lean startups can be useful. And we have also discussed about minimum viable product, and with some examples you can also think of, we can discuss. You can also tell me like if you have any plans to maybe implement in your own future to start your own companies. Okay, so that could be very interesting. We can discuss, or any other doubts, any questions, you can ask me. Maybe with this we are concluding saying that the minimum viable product is basically a new version of the product that enables us to build, measure, learn, and we can able to minimize the cost, and we can maximize our efficiency. Okay, I mean, when I say efficiency, it's about the entire business efficiency of that startup. Okay, so any questions you can ask me now.
Thank you so much, sir. Really, it's a wonderful, excellent, informative, very valuable webinar. Hats off to you. As a typical topic, it has explained in a very simple way and easily understandable to all of us. So when
thank you, ma'am. Actually, if it is an offline thing, maybe I could have shown some of the maybe versions of somewhat, because of some limitations I couldn't. But anyway, I will be mailing it to all the details with you. Maybe you can give a continuous support to your team. And if there is any opportunities, I would like to tell you, maybe if there is any research articles opportunities, we can do that with your support. And maybe we can also guide certain students to start their own ideas to come with a real business. As you were mentioning, I'm also interested in agri-business. and there's a lot of emphasis on agribusiness and agri entrepreneurs. So I have certain maybe ideas, and even we are also trying to experiment at various level, even in the field as well as with our research papers. So I'm very interested and excited to collaborate and really work with you. So in terms of publications and research, thank you, ma'am.
Certainly, sir. Certainly, we'll be having. And today we started with you, and this is only commencement. And many more sessions. Even I hope that Dr. Gopi Sharma sir, our president of IIC New Delhi, also agree with me. And along with this, even our School of Agriculture also very much interested to have experts. Sure, we'll work out to utilize your expertise for the benefit of our IGNOU learners.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly, madam. I think it's a good offer, I can say, from Mr. Raghu. We are looking for people like you.
Yes, sir.
Really,
Because
this
today,
session
sorry,
was
sir.
very.
Sorry
Yes.
for disturbing in between, sir. Actually, today the government of India, from at a central level or we have a college level, everyone is emphasizing on the cross-cultural, or we can say collaborative research areas. So I am from
Yes.
business background. You may be from finance. Ma'am may be from finance. So we can collaborate and we can do really a very good articles, research publications, which will fetch a lot of value to our universities and the country in general. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Sure. In fact, regarding this today's session, I have learned many new things. I'm a physics student basically, and
Okay.
these all things are very new to me. And for last 3-4 years, I'm learning always new concepts, new terminology, and these all things. Whenever we interact with people like you, we are always learning new things. And good aspect of today's deliberation is that you have many times said that learning, that's what validating the learning.
Yes,
because
sir.
this is very important. Whenever you are thinking about setting up a startup or enterprise, then I think whatever you are doing, whatever you are learning, at every stage you should keep on validating it and
Yes, sir.
also testing it. Like then
Correct.
only you can ensure that you will be a successful person. So many new things you have highlighted, right from the basic principles of lean startup, managing entrepreneurship, resources, and how to handle the challenges that one can come across while going for this whole startup and the other things. And this minimum viable product, I have listened a number of talks. I have
But-
also read
Okay.
several places. The way you have explained it, clarified it, I think it's wonderful. Because many a times we find
Thank you,
that
sir.
what
Thank you
is
so
this
much.
minimum viable product or business? That's basically what I understand. This is the first stage of the product which you
Yes,
that why will that it's looking like, how it will be looking like, what
Prototype,
kind of
model.
cost will be there, how people will be feeling about it, these all things. So that kind of I think whether it is a business or any product, that step is very important.
Yes,
If you are thinking to start up a business, then also I think you should go for minimum viable business plan. Like this is the minimum thing which I can handle in my locality or in my area. Then I can expand it for the city level, district level, and then for the national, international level. So that minimum thing is very important, because that minimum entity means you can say like the cell of a human body that is having all the features and the importance and or whatever we can say the features it should have, and what will be, it will give you an idea about the how much cost would be there in preparing that minimum product. That will also guide you whether I should go further in this direction. If it is very costly, then it will you will have to think differently to make it a cost effective, less costly. Or if it is okay, then you can think of making it on a massive scale, go for a business larger scale kind of thing. And very important thing that you have suggested, I think I agree, because I being a physics person, I'm also in the learning process of these all things. So to be a learner, lifelong learner, to learn these new things, whether it is the innovation, creativity, design thinking, or data analytics, or any language like Python, etc. If you are thinking to become a successful entrepreneur, and that too in the age of technology,
Yes, sir.
because
Correct.
this all will agree. If you are planning to set up a business, successful business, then I think you will have to take help of the technology. And if you are
Correct.
always depending on the external person, outside person, then I think you will be not in a better position. So at
Yes, sir.
least minimum thing you should
Minimum
learn.
knowledge. Yes, sir.
Minimum knowledge of technology is must. And also the concept of innovation and creativity that you have highlighted. I have experienced and I've also learned many places like these are the two main components of any startup, because when we talk about the business and startup, business anybody is doing around our the places in our community. Many people are having kirana general stores or other things are there. But what is the difference between them and the startup? I think this innovation component, it makes is a very great difference. If your product is innovative, way of developing is innovative, way of marketing is innovative,
Marketing, branding,
way of communicating with the people is innovative, branding is innovative, then I think it will be a unique thing. So these are the aspects, very important aspect that you have highlighted in your talk. Really hats off to you, wonderful explanation. And
Thank you.
this as I was mentioning initially, we uh, keep on organizing such kind of programs. And what I'm thinking now, instead of having like a today's session, it included many things in one session, because this was the demand of this session, which
Correct.
IIC has assigned to us. We have to organize a session on this topic. But what I think, we should have a small chunk of videos, not so lengthy like it has become almost 1 hour. If
Yes,
we
sir.
can have a 15 or 20-minute video, like one video on lean startup only. What is lean startup? The concept of lean startup with example. That
Okay.
only 15, 20 minutes. Dr. Radha, we can plan this kind of
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
sessions, and like another session, innovation in a business, the role of
Okay.
innovation in business.
Role
with
of innovation
example.
in business.
Yes.
Like only minimum viable product. One small video program or
Yes,
talk
sir. With
that
more
can be on the
examples. Yes.
yes. So that will be, because 15, 20-minute video, any student will listen, any people will watch it and then can get benefit of it. If it is a 1 hour long or 2 hour long and covering too many things, then I think it becomes it's also very interesting and useful. But instead of that, taking different topics and small videos, then I think that will be a good thing. So we can work out with you, with the
Sure,
Regional
sir.
Center
Thank you.
Bangalore, you and we at the headquarters.
Sure,
We
sir.
can plan, and then we can develop a series of such video programs, and then can put on a YouTube channel for the consumption of our students. Not only our students, anybody can view
Yes, sir.
it, so that people will get benefit of your expertise, your experience. So thank you very much. I think
Thank you, sir.
we can invite our participants if they have any questions, suggestions, or comments. This
Yeah. Any questions? Please.
yes, please.
Yes, thank you so much, Sharma sir. It's a very good session you have made. So I request Sri Raghu to kindly, as per your convenience, sir, you can make a short duration videos. And the
Okay.
same also we will upload in IGNOU official YouTube channel, Twitter, and Facebook. So that
Okay.
not only IGNOU learners, even all the learners
The
can get
general public
benefit.
will be benefited. Yes.
Dr. Raghu, what we can do,
Yes,
we
sir.
can make a list of topics first.
Sure,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
If
I
we
will
are
answer.
thinking, if we want to give a package of such videos to a budding entrepreneur, suppose
Okay.
like these are the students, newcomer is there,
Yes,
and if you want to give them a full package
yes, yes.
on
Correct. So it will be a lot of
right
helpful.
from idea to
Okay.
final
In the execution.
development. So
Development.
what should be the topics in that, and that sequence of
Yes, yes.
presentation?
Series
What
of
concept
videos.
should be given first, and what after, what at last, and then list of the topics, and then we can plan this kind of video
Sure, sir.
development.
So we will discuss, sir. We will discuss.
Yes,
sir.
yes, that will be good.
As per our IIC point of view also, and our main goal of IGNOU Innovation Council point of view also, we will make a list of topics and send to you, sir.
Yes,
And
sir.
you and Mamta can go through that and we will decide.
Yes.
And as he is a full-fledged faculty in NITE and he is also the researcher, so as per his convenience, he can plan about the selected topics. We are also planning to have some series of sessions with Mr. Raghu. Basically, for our IGNOU learners also, there are so many topics related to innovation and startups. Only these 3 topics I am also planning to focus while arranging, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Actually, it's basically a lot of interdisciplinary studies I'm interested. And since I am from agriculture background, I have done my management, this thing in retail, and I have also now updated with this IT programming languages and all that. So there is luckily I got an exposure to agriculture as well as IT. So where I can use it
Yes,
for
yes.
proper channelizing into proper,
Yes.
yeah, ma'am. That's what I'm thinking. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks
In
for the
fact,
opportunity.
it's a very rare combination.
Yes.
Agriculture, IT together, I have never seen. It's a very rare, unique quality you're having.
Food retailing and agribusiness, agriculture
Yes.
marketing, this is my interest area. That's what we will
Sure,
do.
we'll work out, sir. And next session, I will arrange with the School of Agriculture and our directors and faculty. O.P. Sharma sir also will be there. We all have a meeting also and work out on this.
Okay.
And IGNOU also launched many programs by online also, sir. IGNOU is a distance education university. Now many agriculture programs are offering by online also, distance mode also.
And there is a great demand for agricultural courses. And there
Yes.
now, because students nowadays see a lot of opportunities.
Yes,
And
yes.
basically, I'm into this agri-business with my retail and
Mhm.
trying to see what can be done with the food retailing
Yes.
and food products. And there's a lot of assistance, direct benefit to the farmers and agricultural sector. So that is the need for the, even when we talk about the broad at the country level, Government of India, they want to double the farmers' income. So that objective we can able to keep, and within that we can streamline a lot of programs we can organize, and definitely I'll be available.
Even O.P. Sharma sir, I wish to mention here, and during last January, after my meetings with the BMS College of Engineering, with the HOD, Vijendra Reddy sir and other people, they have introduced a project analysis by our Praveen Jain sir as a add-on course for internal assessment for their regular BE students. So they studied that course for their internal test, and they also awarded marks who completed their program successfully. Even I was very happy that engineering college introduced our IGNOU program as an add-on program for the engineering students. I conveyed over the UC Pandey sir also the same thing. I'm also working on the same way and trying to get agriculture program also. Any
In
queries,
fact,
please,
this
Adi?
Any questions
field of
from students?
agriculture
or
is
other?
very upcoming. Government of India is also
Ah.
emphasizing on agri-based startups and
Correct.
enterprises. A lot of emphasis is being given.
So I think Mr. Raghu's speech is very good and no queries are arisen. Even we got additional knowledge.
Thank you, ma'am. So if there is any maybe questions, they can also mail me. I'm ready to
Yes,
answer.
sir. Yes. I will circulate your email ID to all the audience.
Okay.
And our O.P. Sharma sir is already having email ID. I shared all the agenda, everything with them also. I will also once again send the
Definitely.
resumes to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
So shall we close the session, sir, O.P. Sharma sir?
Yes, I think we can
Yes, sir.
conclude.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. And my special thanks to G. Raghu. Actually, he is in the college, then also he accepted to have our session and given a wonderful and valuable session. And thankful to Dr. O.P. Sharma sir for all the support you are providing, sir, to conduct all these events. At least because of you, Aarti Bengaluru also getting this much good opportunity and good name also too. Both things. So the credit goes to you. And we wish to serve still many more activities and other services needed for the IGNOU and NCDA and IGNOU IIC. I'm thankful to all my colleagues who have taken good efforts. And really, sir, my appreciation to two of our technical people, Sri T.G. Rajshekar and R. Rupesh. Rajshekar is the assistant director, Rupesh the executive assistant. Both people made, they learned and made experiment of YouTube stream today. It was successful. And even we have our ARD, Dr. Shanmugam with us, and ARD Dr. Hemali, Dr. Kasturi, ARD, and Sri Purushottam, and all other staff also available today. I'm able to see their names. So I'm thankful to each and every one of you who are present here. And today, the Saturday, actually, a weekend for us, Raghu sir. And then as our staff has joined very happily. Thanks to every one of you for making this program successful.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. Good
Thank
evening,
you
ma'am.
very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Radha, ma'am. Hello. Hello. Can I know? Hello, ma'am. Radha, ma'am.
Ma'am, she has already left.